see when it actually says it started. Dump, 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 dump.
Live,
A little
yay.
bit of a topic, well, what the fuck. That's kind of the thing, though, is when I start thinking about should I invite the theist list, it's, are you a good theist or a bad theist? And sometimes it's just, who the hell knows anymore? I mean, depending on the conversation, some of the bad theists aren't bad to deal with. I actually had a decent conversation with Pillbox the other day, yeah. We talked just about music. Nothing else.
I really liked the Maudie and Lenny hangout you had with Raw.
Oh,
Raw's goofy.
Off air, I was talking with him for like 6 freaking hours. Who would have thunk it? We didn't kill each other at all. Oh wait, no, we're live. No, I can't stand Raw. No, it's one of those things. You get these impressions when we first meet people, and it's usually based upon shit that they've said. And a lot of times,
my first impression of Raw. Well, my first real impression was the psychotic episode.
Yeah,
so that wasn't good.
Yeah, whatever the hell that was. The funny thing is, I later found out he did something similar to Brian J. That's just one of his ways of trying to get attention. So, oh, now I know. Granted, you might have gone a little snappy. Yeah, I'm going to still claim credit for breaking them because it's fun. Oh, so how's everyone doing today?
Spiffy.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Eating what should be eating.
TMZ and I were having fun doing a little Q&A earlier just for the hell of it.
Not TMZ is something else.
Yeah.
Kevin number 2.
No.
Yeah, we can do that too. But then I get confused because I just start saying Kevin and people are like, oh, okay, wait, which one? Ah. You think I'm with it enough to actually keep that?
You can call him Kevin.
Okay, during the role-playing game when I was running it, there was a time period that Kevin and Nodvik were playing their characters so similar to each other that I just started calling them both Kevin. And then I figured out why I was doing it, and I'm like, oh, that is so stupid.
Because we were both playing our characters similar?
Well, I noticed when you two aren't in the same group, I never have the problem. It's similarities in the character. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, the combo we had earlier was really
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then, of course, we get to storytelling, and it's like, oh, better stop. Kidding. But
food, man. Food.
You know, I know. I had to crack the joke, though, because, you know, you get me talking about storytelling, and I start waxing and, you know, all that. It's just, oh, I miss storytelling.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I won't shut up. Yeah, get me on storytelling. She's right. I won't. That's like the point at which it's just like, let's go overboard.
You have a passion for it.
Yeah, it's like cornerstone of who the hell I am.
And a gift.
I'm opening an early birthday present because I want to.
You can do that. You're a grown-up. That nobody will know.
I'm an adult.
And the internet. We're live now, by the way. The internet knows that you open your presents early. And that you have a birthday coming up.
Shame.
Yeah, so the internet should wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Still early. Better early than late.
Happy early birthday to you.
Actually, when her parents have birthdays, what she'll do is she'll, when the kids are over, she'll call them on the phone with the kids there, and they'll all sing happy birthday over the phone.
Oh, cool.
And they sit there laughing at them. But the reason why you do this over the phone is that way they can hold it away from their ear and not have to actually listen if they don't want to. It holds earrings. What the fuck is it, though?
It's a bowl.
It's a bowl? Why do you want a bowl that holds earrings? What the fuck are these people thinking?
A bowl
It's a bowl. It's a bowl that holds earrings. It has little holes in the side for earrings. It's going to make it hard to eat your soup.
A bowl that holds other stuff.
Oh, probably. You have to go there first, right? So I've been, I was mentioning this earlier, I've been asked by the New Covenant group to come up with a number of short videos, like 1 to 2 minutes, of me saying profound things.
Start taking drugs.
Yeah, that might
He
help.
doesn't need to.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, I say things that are like really powerful, and I'm like, it was. I don't get it. But when it comes to saying weird things or doing crazy things or this and that, I think this week Redline gets the cake. I think he gets the prize.
In what?
You decided to have a hangout just for the sake of creationists. What the fuck were you thinking?
Pretty sick.
So you just invite all the ex.
Well, you see, I'm kind of a masochist when it comes to that, I guess.
I mean, admittedly, I did a 5-hour hangout with Neffy once, which was hellish, but there was only one of him.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been enough.
Yeah, actually, I did not invite Pillbox. It was only supposed to be me and the other dude. Pillbox just popped in, and I was like, oh, fuck. What did you sent the link to Pillbox, you asshole.
Who was the other dude?
The other dude was the guy that actually invited Pillbox, and quite honestly, he's kind of a cunt for doing that.
Yeah, I've seen that kind of shit. It always drives me a little bit nuts, because it's like, okay, I'm holding a hangout, and the hangout's for the people that I fucking invite. Why are you inviting additional people without asking? I mean, asking's one thing, but it's just when people just start randomly inviting people, and it's like, who are you and why are you here? Justify your fucking existence or face the airlock.
Mm-hmm.
Airlock, huh?
It was one of those oh shit moments, definitely. And then Pillbox went on the usual Pillbox style. Assert every fucking thing imaginable and provide absolutely no evidence to support his bullshit.
And everything you assert is pseudoscience.
Pretty much.
Pseudoscience,
That's
pseudoscience.
pseudoscience. Fusion and stars is pseudoscience.
You know what confuses me about him is that he's got a biology textbook. Has he read it? I mean,
Probably not. It's
there you go.
He has the biology textbook to it's a prop.
It's a prop.
makes-
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Well, the fun part was when Jade was like, wait, I have that one. Let me check that reference.
Yeah, basically he has, my theory is that he has the textbooks specifically to quote mine.
That's what we were observing, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically the best quote mining tool for him ever.
What are you doing?
Probably keeps it next to his desk, just like that.
Yep. Oh yeah, the other guy, if you want to name, his name was Tommy Hall.
Oh,
Oh no.
yeah, I know Tommy Hall.
And admittedly, he's actually somewhat decent, at least when compared to Pillbox.
Oh no, I agree. He's
But when Pillbox came in, yep, basically it just turned into a clusterfuck from there.
What if we do?
Then I kicked him.
Yeah, it's almost where like you have the good theists and the bad theists, and you can split the bad theists between toxic and non-toxic.
Oh, you're not laughing at the conversation in the room. It's the glasses. What the fuck?
She got me all.
Hang on a second. Come here. Put those suckers on. Come here. Okay, puppy. Move out of the way. You've got to see this. Are these glasses? Are they not worthy of Matthew Bell? These are actually
No comment.
than his,
Those are so 50s.
These are like more bizarre than his Elton John glasses. I think red wins.
They're amazing.
Still not flashy enough to distract from that thing on his forehead.
No, nothing will distract from the strange labial folds on his lip.
I've always told him that's why, to me, he looks like a sun-dried scrotum.
Oh, so you know where the seam is. Oh, I'm so glad I don't have any viewers.
Especially when you realize he's only in his 40s.
Oh my God! Oh
Who are you
really?
speaking of?
Wait,
Matthew Bell.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
He's in his
Same age as me, yeah.
Matthew Bell is an interesting character. I know his style of argumentation. Basically, ask, "Have you heard the argument? Have you heard the argument?" And you say, "Well, no. Can you tell it to me?" He's like, "Oh, then you're not worth speaking to if you haven't heard the argument I want to
You
tell."
understand my philosophical language? No. Okay, I'm not talking to you.
Okay, y'all straighten up. Fiona's here.
Okay, yeah.
Hey,
So
Fiona.
Hello.
Okay, I
So-
actually, hey, Red! You'll show up eventually. I actually have a question for you from her. because she got an invite to a hangout that you're having, and she's like, I don't know what it's really about.
Yeah.
Go, just go.
Your question about her hangout that you tried asking me to go over. Oh.
Wow.
I think my graphics card just crashed.
Here we see
I know
the
when that happens, my computer turns.
here we see the female 13 heathens taking control of the male den.
That is just cute.
This is what happens when I have a birthday.
She's planning on Mardi Gras, I think. You're having a hangout on Sunday, Fiona?
Yes, I am.
What's it actually on? Because I saw it was Sodom and the Science of Sodom and Gomorrah. What's the actual discussion per se, or
The Science of Sodom and Gomorrah.
literally? Then it's
Yeah.
what would make the walls fall and how.
Subtitle is Great Balls of Fire.
Are we going with the meteorite hypothesis on that one, or?
No, what brought that to mind was this theory about the balls of sulfur that Ron Wyatt said he'd found.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ron
Yeah, I know
Wyatt. Have you seen the list of his discoveries?
No.
Discovery.
Okay, he's found Noah's Ark.
Again.
Oh,
He,
well.
yeah, he found the Ark of the Covenant.
Did he?
Yes,
Yes,
and
he's a
on the mercy seat of the
pseudo-archaeologist.
Ark of the Covenant, he found the blood of Christ, and he had a chromosome study done on it, and there were a grand total of 24 chromosomes.
Wow, really?
23 from Mary, and a Y chromosome from God.
Okay.
Yeah, but the lab lost all the data.
I think this is the point at which I start, questioning this guy's credentials as a scientist.
Yes.
And they lost
And
all
he
the
was-
pictures of the ark.
Well, he was qualified as a nurse anaesthetist.
That makes him an archaeologist. How?
Amateur archaeologist. He used to use his vacation time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, illegal digs in Israel. Now, what else has he found? Yeah, he found the site of Sodom and Gomorrah. He's found the original Mount Sinai because he's found a mountain with a black top. The fact that the photograph shows you a mountain with the top in shadow doesn't help his case. Seriously, Google the guy. He's dead now, but Google him. There's this long list of discoveries.
These are some apologists currently digging this guy up to try and promote whatever they're promoting this week.
It comes up every now and again. I mean, he's been thoroughly debunked. His stuff was getting used a lot in the 90s. I think he was a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm not sure. But eventually even his own church disowned him because they never saw any evidence either. There was always an excuse as to why he would come back from these digs and he didn't have the evidence. Oh, the Israelis had...
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Did Heathens just drop from his own room?
Ouch.
Oh, shit.
yeah, and Andy Jack at the same time.
Well, that's how that happened.
Okay,
must be
so
something
what kind
weird
of
going
shit can we throw on his channel while he's not here?
Well, there's a reason that one of the Cards Against Humanity cards in our playset is 13 Heathens internet connection.
Mhm. Very much. Okay, I'm just gonna put this on his channel. Attention, testicles. That is all.
Quickly
It's not
invite
in
you.
here. You can try to get it
Okay.
flagged. No, don't do that.
Okay. Are these large or small testicles?
They're
Does
red
it
lines.
matter?
What do you think?
Are they hairy? Are they wrinkled? Are they
I would
smooth? Are
say,
they bald?
can we have a combination of both?
You
Well,
know,
hairy and
Want your
non-hairy?
balls? You want your cake and eat it too?
I say so.
Are there acceptable ones and ones
You
that...
can wax one of yours and leave the other one unwaxed.
There we go.
So, in case you haven't heard, Google's been having problems lately. I love being kicked out of my own hangout. Let me tell you.
Oh, you missed a lovely 1-minute conversation about balls.
Oh, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden everyone stops talking. I'm like, okay, I think she froze up. So how's everyone else do? Everyone else is not talking. Son of a bitch, I'm the one that froze. And I'm sitting there like, oh, da, 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 da. Hey, wait a minute. I'm talking to myself again. crap, I do
It's,
this
it's the usual Friday night.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to hangouts.
Oh yeah, and a lot of them, of course, are going to be offline. There'll be somebody that'll come up with an interesting online one so that I can dump this and go to something more interesting, probably.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, I'm just not known for having the most popular or interesting hangout. You know,
You-
then again,
you've
they're
got
usually
such a way with words.
recording and
Yeah, I just want to comment on the puppy back there. He is adorable.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he is.
Yeah, he's the lampshade, right?
yeah, she's the lampshade. I kept
Oh,
going
it's a girl.
that I got
What's
her
her name?
a new lampstand basically, and just thread the cord in through there and have them light bulb in the mouth, and it was a bad joke for a while.
What's your dog's name?
I don't want to say it. She
Oh,
walked
okay.
out there. Her name's Kaya.
Oh.
Oh,
She was looking at me.
Kaya!
Uh,
Kaya!
Wow, well, she's determined to follow Mama right now. Okay, there's a closed door. Here she comes. Hi, how are you? You're going to be over my shoulder again in a minute, aren't you? You pain in the butt.
so I just made a video in response to one of Richard Raspberry's videos where he's like blaming all of these people, including you, Fiona. He's blaming you and everyone else that you guys been bullying Jason Burns or some shit.
is this a new video that he's made?
No, it's quite old now.
Oh, right, that's yeah.
But-
He's privated most of his videos.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and so, but I dug it up thanks to Richard Raspberry Archive.
Yes.
And I also found those racist ass cartoons, which was the basis of the video that I did for him.
Yes,
because-
I saw that.
So I was addressing that since he has, since he wants to stand against online bullying, which he claimed that this individual is doing. Since he wants to lead a crusade against online bullying, I wanted him to get a chance to clear the air about
Yeah.
those racist fucking cartoons that he made.
Yeah, I mean those cartoons are an absolute disgrace. But sadly, I had other fish to fry with Dickie Dangleberry, and because quite apart from the fact of what he'd already done to me and my family, to then mention me by name and say that I physically attacked Jason Burns in Manchester when I have never been to Manchester in my life.
Oh my God.
That is what he said, that I had to
Yeah.
attack Jason Burns in the flesh. I've
Wow.
never been to Manchester. I was hundreds of miles away in Scotland.
Quick footnote. Somebody on the sidebar through the Q&A just asked if they could join. David sent an invite through Google Plus. You're welcome to join. Be interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
But that's why I didn't pull him up on those racist cartoons. I mean, normally I would have done, but I had decided that given that he was starting on me again and saying that I had physically assaulted somebody,
Yeah.
I was no longer interacting with him. In fact, I've been in touch with the police again.
Well, the irony about
But I would have said something because those cartoons are a disgrace.
You
Yeah.
can get him removed from Google for that.
I think that's why I keep stating to him that I want to have a conversation with him and see if he wants to get. I'm giving him a chance to defend himself. You see,
I could invite him if you want.
that would be awesome.
I
He's
doubt he'll come, but I
he's
can invite
blocked
him.
me. He's blocked me.
Well, then screw him. He can't come.
Yeah, I haven't blocked him. So what I said in the video was I wanted to give him an opportunity to quote unquote defend himself, just in case maybe there's I'm because I can't say that he made the cartoons because I don't know, but it is often linked to him, and so that's why I want to give him a chance to clear the air, and I would start a hangout myself and invite him and see if we can have a discussion about this. Because if he's going to go on about people, quote unquote, online bullying, I would rather for him, to address everything instead of looking like a fucking hypocrite, which he would be if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand that. I mean, the reason, to be honest, the reason that we have the archive is because of basically harassment. We need everything documented. Everything.
Yeah.
with a timeline, because it's now got beyond a joke.
Yeah,
The way
definitely.
he's using people's names in videos, and I can't even defend myself because he's got me blocked.
Right, right. Yeah.
So I can't even comment underneath the videos where he uses my name.
I'll,
I'm not prepared to do it anyway.
I'll be sure to mention you and everything. Yeah.
No, don't, because all it'll do is just bring me back to the front of his mind.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Fan the flame. So
But I've been
Yeah.
I've talked to a few people. So I talked to JD and I talked to Alex Botten, and basically told them that at some point we need to get Raspberry in a hangout so that we can let him get jacked. We'll just say.
well, that was actually done on the Awesome Crew show.
No, I mean along the line. I want to get Alexander in there to confront him. I want them to
Yeah.
set it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's one of those things that's like, have you forgotten that you made these cartoons, dude? How are you able to, go out your way to talk about someone harassing someone else, and you go and you make these fucking cartoons? It's just
Yeah.
I just don't understand that.
I don't understand either.
I've asked him. This will be my second time really addressing him. I've asked him on someone's timeline, on someone's post, and he was already on the post. He was talking to someone else, pretty much talking shit. And so I said, Richard, I think we need to have a conversation. He's like, why would you want to do that? And I was like, well, it's come to my attention that you make these racist cartoons, and I just really want to give you the opportunity to defend yourself about them. And I haven't heard from him since. This was about I think maybe a week ago. I think Max, is his name Max Trivium or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
He just recently made a video where he actually screenshot that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at the timeline for when, I've asked him that. And he hasn't said anything yet.
No. I think something's happened this week for him to make all those videos private. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I mean, it could be a combination of things. But I believe he was thrilled to bits to see Brett Keane back. And, of course, that didn't last long. So I wonder if he maybe privated his videos in case he goes the same way, or I honestly don't know. But I do know that his videos naming people had been flagged. Because it's putting people in danger.
A lot of flag wars going on, I've seen, unfortunately, but what do we do about them?
That's a bird.
Yes, it is. This is actually the annoying sack of shit that's been in most of my videos. He likes butting in, and now he won't leave me alone. So, yeah.
Well, this
I
is just a
lovely
bird,
bird.
not a dog on your shoulder.
Don't worry. That's why I'm wearing another shirt under this. This is called the shit shirt. For a reason.
Yeah.
That's called planning ahead, 13 heathens.
Yeah.
Red was asking if you were a pirate. She was noticing that.
Actually, I'm a blood gangster. Oh, he's turning around. He wants a better-
That's just because he has no lower half to his face.
Yes, I'm a burn victim.
Actually, I was talking about the parrot on the shoulder. But
Oh! It's all about the parrot. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This is Keiko. Keiko is a cockatiel who is an annoying little fuck, and yeah.
Lovely wee bird, though. Lovely.
Or you're saying that the cockatiel takes after you then?
Pretty much. I take after him, but he doesn't know that.
I occasionally have a cat wandering up my back. Because I sit hunched forwards, the cat climbs onto me and just stands in the middle of my back. And it's really annoying because my head hides the cat. Nobody knows there's a cat on my back when I'm in a hangout. And the claws are in my back.
Ooh.
I know. I've got 3 cats. Lucy, Itchy and Scratchy. Because when I got the kittens, Itchy and Scratchy, they're identical black cats. One kitten had fleas, so we called him Itchy. And the other one is very handy with his claws, so he's Scratchy.
It's kind of like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs type of name. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, it's that's the name of the cartoon characters from The Simpsons. They all, they rush home from school to watch Itchy and Scratchy.
Maybe I should rename my bird Screamy.
Yeah.
That's literally what this bird does every freaking day is just scream. And I'm like, are you done yet? So now he won't leave me alone for some reason, and has been flying on my shoulder during the Google Hangouts. I'm like, fine, you can stay, but
Maybe he's complaining because it's wearing too much blush.
I think it's a lovely bird. Really do.
Yep. So that's Red Lunch Bird for some reason.
So I see it leaning towards your head. Is this really where you get your secret commands from?
Pretty much. Right now
the bird is in charge.
Right now
I
he's
suspected
saying
that for a while.
attack 13. And I'm like, no, I don't wanna. Make it stop. You don't see it, but he actually has a gun lodged in his beak right now. It's pointing at my head.
Yeah. Most of us just have a little bunny inside our skulls that work in the
So
controls.
if you're secretly getting your commands from the bird, does that make you a bird brain?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay. Just verifying that.
You're connecting the dots, 13. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I don't know.
Yep, you have a dog that has a tongue, and I have a bird with a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Can you guys actually hear me at all?
Fairly loudly at that, yes.
Okay. I have the crappiest webcam setup, so if it's really horrible, just kick me off of here. Cause
Hang on, just keep talking. I'm modulating your volume.
Yeah, it went up a little high.
ABC 123. ABC 123.
I think that's about.
See.
Say your ABCs backwards.
Your ABC's backwards.
There we go. I think that might do it. Okay.
Nah, you smartass.
Yeah, I know.
Fiona, you mentioned your cats. I remember one time you was in a hangout or something, and you're talking, and making points and everything, and all of a sudden out from the side of the screen comes this tail, and just kind of wafts up against your head.
Good thing if Raw was watching it, he would have called you demonic. Yeah.
There was one hangout I was in, and I was talking away about something, and my cat suddenly just attacked my leg. And I let out a screech. I don't. When the little Lucy goes into season, she becomes overly playful, and she wants me to do things to her bottom, and if I don't, then she attacks me.
I want love, and you're gonna give it to me.
Yeah.
I dated somebody like that once.
We need to get her. We do need to get her neutered, but we couldn't because she was an emergency foster. She was a stray, so we were fostering her for Cats Protection. Just like the two kittens I've got, they were emergency fosters as well. And we're now 3-4 years down the line. We've still got them all.
That's not fostering.
I know it isn't, but it started off as fostering.
I have a peanut gallery.
You have. When we got the kittens, they were only about 3 weeks old. I mean, they're really tiny, and they smelled, and I had to give them a bath, and bathing these two kittens. I should have done them one at a time, not both together, and it was like putting my hand in a blender of razor blades.
You know what? I think I figured out exactly why my bird doesn't want to leave me alone now. It's because of what I have on my desk, and that would be this stuff. Now look at him. Now look at him.
Oh, he's banging teeth.
Yeah.
Just as a quick footnote, Fiona, if it's really that bad, I do know some companies that you can get scale mail through. That might help with the kitten bathing. A little bit of armor.
I would need it. There is actually a video on YouTube on how to bath your cat, and it's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. It's absolutely fantastic.
I decided a while ago that I have to have the webcam on for the sake of the dog, because otherwise I sit there and at random times start saying, "No, don't lick me," and people are like, "What?"
Let me see if I can put this bird outside because it's actually trying to annoy me. So hang on.
Oh, will it not conflict with the other bird that you were taping?
Well, check it out. See, he wants this stuff, so he loves this stuff. I don't know why. To me, it tastes like shit, but the bird absolutely loves it.
Well,
So.
if you think it tastes like shit, give one to the bird and see if it'll bugger off. Or if it's no scratch, stop that.
Uh-oh, Puffy wants attention too.
My cat almost climbed into a bag of tortilla chips.
The problem is, I think the
I mean,
Is
this
it
bag is
Brendan
like
Brendan?
party size.
I think
Oh.
the dog is seeing the bird and saying, "I want to be on somebody's shoulder too." Stop that.
It's a lovely dog.
Yeah.
Lovely dog, lovely birds, cats that attack your feet. So
Yeah.
take your poison.
And do things with their bottoms.
Apparently so.
It's
That's just the way of cats.
Yeah.
They always sticking it right where it needs to be.
Yes. Oh, my husband's been bleeding for 3 days now, so to speak. The female cats attacks him every day. It's a shame. He's shredded, and he's allergic to cats.
Uh-oh.
Well, quite. He can't breathe. So he's on meds for cats.
So, I kind of have a question for the room, and incidentally, welcome to the conversation, Amy. I haven't spoken to you before. I don't know if you have one side or the other here, or if you necessarily care or just want to be in a hangout. Anyway, around it, welcome. But in terms of the proverbial great debate community, or some of us have taken to call it the great master debate community, do you think the conversation's getting better or worse lately?
About what?
Just in general. I mean, it seems like the voices that are coming into the community, a lot of them, because I see a lot coming in, and I don't know if they've watched videos, you know, historically going through or what have you, but it seems like I'm seeing a lot of resurgence in the same old arguments on both sides. And then, of course, we have some of the people that have been here for a while that their arguments are getting worse. Or at least that's my perspective. I don't know what yours is.
Can you all hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of background noise coming in from somewhere. I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that would technically be the background's coming. You can modify that. Somebody's watching a video. Alexander's watching a video.
I am. Actually, I think that's coming from my parents' room. I
just want to see your volume bar moving.
So what?
I just want to see your volume bar moving.
My volume bar?
You're the scapegoat.
Hold on 1 second.
Gonna go.
Is it any better? Is it even better? Is it better?
A little bit, I think. Not much. About the same, yeah. Anyway, but I mean, I've been watching the videos lately. And granted, we've been, you know, flooded by the lowest common denominators.
Yeah.
G-Man and Raspberry and what have you. But the level of discussion on a lot of fronts, I think, is dropping.
Yes, it is.
And my thought is, what can we potentially do about it?
Not a lot. There's very little you can do.
I mean, other than going into hangouts with people that, I hate to say lightweight, but it kind of gets to be at that point. But you're getting in all these conversations with these people that just don't know, you know, don't know their scripture from their anus or whatever the hell you want to call it. And I mean, if we go in there and trying to bring a higher level of dialogue, do you think it'll even make a difference, or do you think they'll just keep shutting us down?
Well, I mean, I think all you can do is remember that when you do this sort of thing, I think you have to be reminded you're not trying to convince the person that you're talking to. I always say that I'm
It's
doing
the
it for the
audience.
workers,
Yeah.
those that may be listening in. Because if I thought that I was out trying to convince anybody, I would have lost the will to live a long time ago.
I can hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I keep reminding myself I'm doing this for the lurkers.
And the thing is, this isn't just a theist side either. It's the atheist side too. I came across another channel. I'm like, oh, who's this person? And I listened to the argument, and I'm like, okay, that's like first day on YouTube kind of argumentation. Damn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're always going to get new people coming through.
Yeah.
I've been doing this now for 14 years online, and you just get the same arguments regurgitated because younger people are coming across some of these arguments and they've never heard them before, and they think, hey, that sounds good, and they come out with it. And you've got to say, well, no, this is actually being dealt with and was debunked in 19 Canteen. It's all you can do. And just keep yourself calm by saying, it's the people who are listening that you're talking to. But having said that, there are occasions where I cannot keep calm.
Yeah.
Where I completely just, I get so infuriated and I get so angry as well. And there is one person in particular that brings out the absolute worst in me. And I just can't have any discussion with this person.
Well, I mean, it was asked of me earlier, what is it in a hangout that makes you want to rage quit? What argument is it that you hear that just, so to speak, shuts down your brain and makes you want to just say, that's it, I'm done here?
Certain more thermodynamics.
Sorry. One at a time, please.
Pillbox.
Red line, go ahead.
I was going to say pillbox, but okay.
Just pillbox speaking in general.
Yeah. Just look at the comments on my most recent hangout. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
See, this is the problem, in that you keep saying that nobody's been able to answer them. But it's because we can't get a word in edgeways.
Yeah, I agree.
Or the person isn't listening.
Yeah, I mean, if we just stop flapping his gums and open his ears. You know, he asks a question and then you can't answer it because he keeps going on and on and on.
I just had a situation not too long ago. That exact same. It's like people don't want to have a contextual conversation, and as soon as you start talking about one thing, they're like, oh, what about blah, 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 blah. It's just like, okay.
The mouth opens and the brain closes.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, it's like a frantic response, though. It's almost like this animalistic, like, it's like, to me, it looks like an animal in a cage, just kind of going, it's like, like you need to tranquilize it or something.
Hey, Amy, do me a favor, just for the sake of quality. Can you turn off your camera?
We're getting you're breaking up a little bit. It's not horrible, but it might help a little bit.
All right.
It also could have been the headset moving, but go ahead, say 2 sentences.
2 sentences. 2 sentences.
That worked.
Yeah, red line's on a roll.
Okay.
Red line is on a roll.
Brought you on my crappy Dell computer. Yay.
Yay.
I watched your hangout last night, Redline, and I mean, when there's any science discussion, I'm really interested. But I went to my bed. I couldn't. I don't know how you do it.
I've been curious about this too. I mean, I've heard earlier you said that pretty much any conversation with Pillbox makes you rage. I know exactly what you mean. This guy was on one of my threads, and we were talking about, well, he brought up abiogenesis, and he asked me for my opinion on it, and I pretty much told him everything, and he was like, well, how do you know this? Are you in the field? And I'm like, well, it's stuff I majored in, man, but it's, I told him that I can see how it can be discredited, but it doesn't, you can say that, you can't say that it's wrong. What we can say is we don't have enough information, and I said you might have to understand, you might have to imagine getting the environment and the time requirement for such experiment will be quite difficult. And he's all like, well, there you have it. You just said it out of your mouth that it's wrong. And I was like, oh, my God, you fucking idiot. I can't have this conversation with him.
Yeah.
Well, even when you do present somebody, they'll ask you a question, well, about abiogenesis or a little fact about evolution, and you present to them, what is proven to be
Right.
real. Not prehistory, but what we see of evolution now. Micro, macro, whatever you want to call it. And here's the truth of the matter, and here's how it works and everything. And they completely disregard what you say because they don't even understand the basics of it. And
Right.
they treat you like you don't know what you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
what's so frustrating. They won't even attempt to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they just blindly assert. Like Pillbox last night in my hangout basically would just blindly assert something, even if you presented something that was accurate. Like, we've actually done fusion, like the
Yeah.
process in stars in the lab. I showed him. I gave him a link to a paper, and I gave him the name of the laboratory that was able to do fusion, and even the name of a laboratory, GSI, that's able to smash particles together to create gold. They can create 2 million gold atoms every second. And he's like, oh no, that's bullshit. It never happens like that. Stars don't make heavier elements from hydrogen. And I go, you are a fucking moron.
Yeah.
That reminded me.
Here we are demonstrating it in the lab, and you are going to just say, nuh-uh, it's pseudoscience.
Yes.
Right. He claimed, he's all like, well, Alexander, can humans make atoms? And I was like, well, I'm not too sure what exactly you mean by can we make atoms, but I can tell you in '95 that's a group of individuals actually was able to create a anti-hydrogen atom. And he's all like, well, how do they do that? And it's like, well, I'm not too sure on the details on how they did that, or what method they used to do it, or what material, or how do they replicate this.
There's a whole roll of the periodic table that's crap we've made.
Right, and he was like, well, so you're saying you don't know? And I'm like, well, I'm not sure on details, is what I'm saying. He's like, so how can you make this case? And I was like, what you don't understand is, yes, it has happened. The key word being anti-hydrogen atom. Okay, let's be clear on that. That's not too hard of a task if you get all your ducks in a row here. What I'm not familiar with is how exactly they got their ducks in a row.
Hang on. There's actually kind of a deeper issue here, which is that if somebody's going to sit there and say, well, how can you know that? And you say, well, this is what the material says. How did they do it? I don't know how they did it. Well, how does he know that his divinity did anything, and what methods did they? He doesn't know that either. So how does? What's the point?
Of course, he didn't want to get into that discussion because that's what I brought up.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there.
I had this discussion with him when he said, yeah, but humans can't make DNA. And I said, they make it every day in the lab.
Right.
When they do PCR. Put the chemicals in a tube, stick it in a cycler, and out comes DNA.
Well, on a much more basic level, when you get pregnant, you're making DNA, right?
Yeah. and also, we do our own oligosynthesis for primers. So we're actually synthesizing DNA without even a template there. And how do you know this? I said, well, read the literature. Yeah, but how do you know they're telling the truth? I said, because I've done it too. But how do you know you made DNA? I said, because I saw it. How did you see it? Well, I ran it on a gel and I stained it and looked at the band. But how do you know that band was DNA? He said, oh my God.
This is roundabout the point that it starts going back to something that I started referencing a while ago, which is that after a point, a lot of these creationist arguments start sounding like conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, and it's then he will turn around and tell me that you know nothing about this subject, and you think, excuse me? I've only spent the better part of 30 years working in the field. And you're telling me I don't know anything about it.
Well, of course, because you aren't agreeing with them.
He's telling me that what I was doing on a daily basis cannot be done.
Right.
And you think, this is Dunning-Kruger at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I just cannot deal with that, because it gets to the stage where he just calls me a liar. In fact,
Yeah.
he's busy doing that in a comment section on a video at the moment. He's calling me a liar.
Yeah,
Yeah, that-
I saw that, Fiona. That was, if you could have reached through that screen, it would have been one big nice funeral for Pillbox.
Well, he actually did it in a hangout. Terry was in there, and Raw was in there, and Pillbox called me a liar, and
Yeah.
even Raw pulled him up on it.
No, now the thing is, I'm even still, and it's mostly playfully at this point, giving Raw a hard time about this and that. But like I said, I mean, the other day I had a 6-hour conversation with him, and I found out that he can be quite social and quite decent, which...
Yep.
And there were certain things in terms of what's going on in the community that he very much agreed with me on.
Yeah.
You know, things like the depths that some of these people will go to defend their arguments, like G-Man and Veckel and their damn slavery thing, for example.
House niggas.
Wow, Arcane Truth just completely went off the deep end. His comment 16 seconds ago is to MG42 Pillbox. He says, "Good job in the Hangouts. Good to see people can actually be objective about science." And my reply, "Do you think he was being objective about science?" What the
Oh,
fuck?
goodness. See, this is what really gets me down. You spend your life doing science, and then you get that sort of comment, and you think, what the fuck do you think I've been doing all these years?
It's almost, sorry.
If it wasn't being objective, I wouldn't have got papers published.
Yeah.
Come on,
almost as
guys.
if- oh, sorry. It's almost as if some of these, like the younger creationists or whoever, it's almost like they're so afraid that if they even learn just a little bit of the science and go, oh, wait a minute, this actually makes sense, it's going to bring their world crumbling down around them. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, just for what you said, like Redline, I was watching a video of yours earlier today. It was you and I think what is his name, Tommy, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
The
Ah,
guy,
Thomas, yeah.
the guy was mentioning how he doesn't trust scientists.
Oh
and-
yeah, yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, well, you don't have a fucking choice. Because whether or not you trust them, if you're sick with, let's say if you had cancer, I dare you to not try to step into a hospital and get help.
He'll just eat
Despite whether or
broccoli.
not, huh?
He'll just eat broccoli.
He
Yeah,
he basically brought up the argument that hospitals or the scientists that work in the medical field are withholding information for whatever reason, and so he brought up broccoli can somehow reverse cancer or some bullshit like that, and I brought up
guy, the Super Sport, right?
yeah.
Oh, I know that. Oh.
Yeah, so what happened was is that I go, listen, we've actually done studies of different foods that can help help cancer or whatever the case may be, and I showed him that scientists have been giving this a live day, which he asserted they have not been doing. I
Yes.
posted him a link to cancerresearch.gov, and I showed him the list on where they were studying the effects of different foods on different types of cancers, and he still denied it.
Okay,
Yeah.
hang on. I got.
Did he?
Now,
Oh, I was just gonna. Oh, sorry.
now that I know what you're talking about, there was a hangout I was in with him a bit of a while ago that was a disaster and then some. He kept citing different papers, and I'd ask for the link, and he'd provide the link, and we'd read the paper to him, and he'd say, yeah, that's what I said, and we're like, no. Read the words here. This means this means... And we had to walk him through the entire process and realize that even what he was saying was refuting his arguments. Sorry,
But
go
it's
ahead.
because they practice apologetics on those words. And they don't realise that scientists, when they write a paper, mean what they say and say what they mean.
Oh.
They have to be very concise and very precise.
right.
There is no reading between the lines. It does what it says on the tin.
Right. I
But they
mean,
try to practice the apologetics that they use on biblical text
yeah.
and somehow think that the in-your-face meaning within a paper might not really be the meaning at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
one
I think that's the problem.
I'm going to hand the mic to Amy because I had to cut her off earlier so I could get my point in.
Oh, well, actually, you've already said it, but if you want to just brush something up, yeah, there is a huge difference between a scientific paper and a scientific article, as in, like, scientific in quotations. Like, it's part of an entity. It's being shipped as, like, some kind of news. Like, when you really get down to what scientists are saying, not some guy who's a writer, it's just like the information is just so much better when you get down to the source. And a lot of people are so used to using a people filter to think. Like, you're getting all of your information from some kind of source that has an agenda versus just someone, like, people don't go for the raw anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe not anymore. Maybe it's just never been that way.
They won't go for it unless it's siphoned through Answers in Genesis.
Yeah.
What I thought was kind of interesting during that one conversation I had with them was that I kept recalling back to my Scientology day when they were one of their particular practices is emphasizing that people, when they don't know where to look, at the hell up. And I was wishing on this one time that this guy had taken that one class. Anyway.
Yeah, I laugh when people cite Answers in Genesis, and it's like, you have no idea how dead of a horse that site is. Seriously, like, I remember, in class, this kid using that site, like, he was definitely trying to aspire to be an apologist, and I guess his best way of approaching that is taking science class. Or taking biology, rather. And the guy would try to, interact with the professor about certain things that he didn't agree with. And, yeah, most of it was because of his religion, which, it's like, fine. But the teacher is like, well, one thing you can't argue with is things that are verified, things that can be demonstrated. You know what I mean? Things that are, shown to be true. So when you bring these articles up from Answers in Genesis, and I can easily refute them just by not only citing sources that would actually lead you to how that information is demonstrably false, I can even perform it here. You know what I mean? And it's like, the guy's his whole spirit was kind of shut down. But I mean, it was just funny. It's funny every time I'm interacting with people, and they bring up Answers in Genesis. It's like, oh my God, this is like introducing biology to kindergarten. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get the grasp.
Yep, it definitely is. And when it came to Tommy. Bringing up some of his sources, like he would post a link in there. That's exactly where it was from. It was from Answers in Genesis. And my first reply was, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But I was trying to be kind to him. I was trying to read through the article. I'm like, listen, it states this, but it's not listing any sources. And he goes, "Well, that is the source." So you're saying Answers in Genesis cites itself.
Yeah,
like they have big laboratories and stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, there are creationist scientists out there. In fact, I know a 60-year-old paleontologist who's a creationist. But very, very rarely do creationists actually get information that is a scientific report from a creationist. It's always some kind of, like, finessed website,
Well, it's like their claim that because one of the things that I was speaking with Supersport previously is his assertion that stars can't fuse past iron. So how do we have elements heavier than iron? And then I go, well, that's been refuted back in the 1940s, for fuck's sake. And the issue is, do you know what supernovas are? Supernovas is the result of a collapsing star. And it collapses with such force that what is left, its remnant, is a neutron star. So the force that can create a neutron star can force iron into heavier elements. And hell, if you have a star big enough, it can even collapse into a black hole, literally the densest thing that breaks all logic. So you don't think it's possible for them to fuse iron into heavier elements? Why do you think all the elements greater than iron are so rare?
And this here is kind of exemplary for anyone that's watches this now or later that happens to be a theist. This is really where what we're discussing now. This is where the conversation seems to always break down. Is we can talk about the theological viewpoints. We can talk about what this God concept means to you. We can talk about all these other things, or we can talk about things completely unrelated that we can have fun with. But once it starts getting to the sciences and you start getting to this science denialism, the conversation just deteriorates and you end up with a room full of frustrated people, both atheists and theists alike in many cases.
Yep. I mean, the thing is that when they just spew this bullshit, they are insulting my intelligence as well as the intelligence of people who have dedicated a lot of time, effort, to finding out truth, and have actually done some pretty amazing things, some pretty amazing experiments. In fact, I got to shake the hand of Chris Hadfield, who was on the International Space Station and who is now retired. And to basically spew the bullshit that they are spewing, I take that just a wee bit personal, and that's why I like calling out their bullshit for what it is. Bullshit.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I studied what I studied, and I kind of wish I pursued more actively into the scientific field. But I knew that wasn't a major thing that I wanted to base a career off of.
Yep.
But I know enough to when I hear bullshit, I'm like, no, this is the case. You know what I mean? And that's what makes me want to rage quit every time that brings up. I mean,
I just wanna win the lottery and pay SpaceX $200,000 to get my sorry ass up to the space station. That way, I can do a Google Hangout with Pillbox and say, "See, douchebag, it exists."
It's round.
No, Lord Stephen Christ would be more fun for that.
Lord Stephen. Oh yeah.
Okay, so now that we're up in orbit, where's that glass ceiling?
Where's that glass ceiling, motherfucker? We're 400 miles off the surface of the Earth. Yeah.
Uh-oh, there's trouble. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, I've invited.
I think.
Well, I have just been dismissed.
Oh well.
I have just been dismissed. Pillbox has
I was
said. He's just said to me that now that Arcane, whoever he is, has said he's a scientist as well.
Bullshit.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah. Because he's coming on this. Pillbox has said, "Okay, you can leave now, Fiona. Dismiss out of hand." I am sure there's a bit of sexism here.
I found somebody that claims to be a scientist that agrees with me.
Yeah, well, Pillbox wants to speak to him about allele frequencies, and then Arcane points out that he's a military-trained engineer studying philosophy of science / theology.
Oh yeah, that makes him qualified.
Yep.
I was going to say, Fiona, I think she hit the nail on the head when she said you just got to go for the open doors with people.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to waste a whole lot of time getting nowhere.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, unless it's like a family member that you really care about and you actually have some relational clout with this person.
Yeah.
It's like the internet is full of people who really don't care about who they're talking to. So.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the guys know. Do you any of you know about this guy named Benny from Europe?
Benny?
No, I don't know who he is.
Okay, I don't know who the motherfucker is, but he keeps making these racist ass comments towards me and a bunch of other friends here, Evril and all the people that I associate myself with. And so to me, he told me to be a good atheist and give myself the Trayvon Martin treatment.
Yeah.
And then he said he was commenting on Evril's profile pic, which is it's meant to be provocative, like sexually provocative picture. And he's like, well, I don't agree with it. And if you don't cut it out now, you're gonna get raped by black guys and have black babies. And I'm like, really? Really? You're really saying this, and you're supposed to be, Christian, And I confronted him because he gave me an apology after making that little crack about me should do myself in like Trayvon. He made an apology. I recognize that I believe that it was sincere. However, I took it with a grain of salt anyway. And so I said, you betrayed me by sitting here, giving me an apology, and I accepted your apology, and now you're doing this again?
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? And then so I told him, if you do it again, I best believe I have screenshots, but if you do it again, I will make sure that I contact the proper authority here on this forum. And he hasn't said anything else to me. Yeah, but this guy, talking about people that just doesn't care about, anyone that they're talking to. Yeah, that's absolutely true. If I ever met Benny from Europe, I'll fuck him up. I swear. I'm not. That's just one of my things. I cannot stand racist. I would choke him out.
Hey, if I can, Alexander, if you do ever go to Europe and you're gonna fuck that guy up, do me a favor. Can you wear a helmet with a camera strapped to it? Because I want to post that shit on YouTube.
I'll do it. I'll do it like how. Are you familiar with the rapper Game? The Game.
Oh yes.
Okay, so the Game beat up this other rapper that is known to bully other rappers. He goes around bullying them, and so the Game was confronting him about bullying people. So he goes to beat the guy up while holding his iPhone in the other hand. So I'm like, he go and beats this guy up, and while he's holding his iPhone in his hand, I would do it that way if I had to.
Well, I have two different cameras. I have the Sony Action Cam AS100V, and I have the GoPro, and I can put both on. Fuck it.
Right.
There was a video that I caught yesterday, I think it was actually, that was this woman ranting at this guy in a car. And
yes, I've seen that.
He throws out like the N-word like 8-9 times, and then says, "How dare you accuse me of being racist?" or something like that. I'm like,
yeah,
what the hell?
Yeah, she's all like, because you are a nigger. You scare my kid.
Yeah, I'll let you say that word in my hangout. I won't.
I'm sitting here thinking it could not have been me. It couldn't have been me at all, because I would have been filming it too, but I would cut that camera off, beat her and his ass. Like, you know better than that. I would give him a good old-fashioned 50s leather strap beating.
Well, I don't know. She had a lethal weapon. She had a coffee cup.
It better be real hot.
So, Christopher, what do you have to say about the proceedings?
Oh, yeah, really.
Yeah, exactly.
About what you guys have been talking about.
Sure.
Obviously.
Okay, well, up until the Benaberry thing, or not Benaberry. Benaberry's a fucking person. Oh my God. Benny from Europe.
Yeah.
I saw those posts, and those are obnoxious, but I don't really want to talk about it or give it any more time. What you were talking about before, I think, is interesting, especially Redline. Redline, I think that you and I approach things a little bit differently. I'm not saying that either of them are better, but you, let's see. I'm not going to tell you what you do, but my observation is your pursuit for truth is kind of what drives you to call out bullshit when you see it. Is that a correct paraphrasing?
We could just call it a irritation, and it's like a mosquito bite, and I just got a scratch.
I gotcha. And I totally get that. My approach is, because there are so many people that want to go like at bat, mano a mano, about their positions. But I think it's interesting just because of I think I'm a little older than you, and because I studied psychology. I think it's more interesting to understand why people think things that I totally disagree with. Because don't get me wrong, I talk to a lot of people I totally disagree with on a lot of things. But I try to engage them in such a way that it's not like, hey, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Because all of a sudden, that gives you one version of the person you're talking to. Whereas if you approach it as, I'm here to understand why you think what you think and let them, talk for a little while. I think that you get a different version of the person, and I think that version of the person's more willing to be revealing than the person that you maybe put on the defense by making it clear, like, oh, you're spewing bullshit, and I need to tell you why, and this, that, and the other. What are you looking at? Because your mic's live right now.
Well, Christopher, that's interesting, but I'm just gonna be honest, and I don't mean this to be rude or anything. I don't give a shit why they think what they think, and when it comes to me, if what they think is wrong, I'm gonna tell them why it's wrong, and I don't see any benefit in beating around the bush per se. I don't see any benefit in being friends with someone. Sometimes you have to tag it head on. But in my hangouts, I'm very kind to people. I let them say what they got to say, and if you are an annoying little prick, I boot you from the room so the civilized people can have a word in. And that's why I booted Pillbox. The other guy had all the time in the world to say what he has to say. He got to post every link he needed to post, and we got to talk about it. And at the very end, we just simply came to the conclusion that even if the information is true, he won't take that information from scientists because he simply disagrees with scientists as a whole. And so I got the answer I need right there. So it is futile to talk to you about anything. It's futile for you to talk to me about anything because I know you're full of shit, but you're just not going to accept it. So I got my answer. Hangout's over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's been successful for you. You've been able to have meaningful, insightful conversations about topics with that approach.
Definitely. Just like when it comes to presuppositional apologetics, when it comes to the discussions I've had with Nephilim Free, because what it does is that it basically shows the folly of their position, and the only thing you have to do is point to facts and see how they react to those facts. Now, like Pillbox, if they simply react to you're wrong, and doesn't provide any support for it, everyone else who is on the fence about something can compare and contrast the two sides. We have one person that's basically acting like an annoying little bitch, and we have the other side that's more than willing to provide the evidence, provide the links to show you exactly what's up. And I think I think it's obvious which side you go with, and that is exactly how I became an atheist. When during the first few months when I was in Shock of God's chat room, because I would see the way Shock responded and see him the way he reacted, and I would see the way the atheist reacted, and there was a lot more honesty, a lot more symmetry with the atheist side, and their willingness to show how they know what they know.
I missed that very last little bit.
Oh, their atheist willingness to show why they know what they know. They will point to sources. They'll show you links. They're more than willing to have this conversation and say, hey, listen, if you have a genuine question about something with the theist side, they'll simply say Romans chapter 3, verse 4. They'll simply say that. But if you ask myself, hey, how do you know fusion happens in stars? Okay, let's go ahead and have a long, detailed discussion about this, so I can get every single point and I can get all my ducks in a row here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, more power to you. Like I said, neither of our approaches is better than the other.
Chris, for just one moment.
Go ahead, 13.
Sorry, I'm going to cut in here for a moment because there was actually on one of these varied conventions that they've had, there was a panel discussion, somewhat of an argument as to what approach is best, or is there room for different approaches and this kind of stuff. So the notion of whether there's a better approach or whether something will get through to people better than others and what have you has been really talked about a lot within the community. And the jury's still very much out.
Oh, I mean, I think that there should be a diversity of approaches. I think that everyone should address it the way that they do. I think that everybody on this panel approaches it differently. I'm not singling you out, Red. I just heard what you said earlier, and I thought that would be a fun thing to talk about. Like I said, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that you should stop doing what you're doing.
I'm not accusing you of any such thing. You have your approach, and I respect your approach. I respect your decision to have that approach, and I'm not going to tell you to stop. It's not my place to tell you to stop. And so if that's working for you, more power to you.
Right on, man. Okay. All right. That was my contribution. Unless you want me to tell me who's on my hate list this week.
What actually got back, what got led into initially the science thing is we were talking about things like pet peeves, basically. You know, the things that once the conversation goes there, you either leave or want to leave because it just you want to just throw your hands up in the air.
Oh, I mean, yeah. And don't get me wrong, Red. I love science too, and I love when people like to use science to come to conclusions that are completely science-y. They're not really science. They just sound science-y because they're able to use they're able to shoehorn. Come on, Mouty, spit it out. Shoehorn words into what they're talking about that make it seem like, yeah, and that's what science concludes. And it's like, no, I read that journal.
Well, some people are actually very honest about their intellectual dishonesty. Like if you have Saitan Baruch, for example, that or who is that? Is on Ken Ham that basically admits that nothing will ever convince him, no matter what you say, no matter what evidence you bring him.
Wasn't that in that was the Bill Maher movie? He said that, right? Like if there's
that was in the Bill Nye debate.
The debate was Nye, yeah.
When asked, and this was asked to both panelists, would anything change your mind? Bill Nye, the science guy, said yes. If you can show me these pieces of evidence, show me the fish that's swimming through multiple layers of strata, and so forth and so on. When it came time for Ken Ham to answer, he said, "Well, you know, I'm a Christian." And so forth and so on. Basically, the point was, no, I'm not going to change my mind because the book says that I'm right, you're wrong, fuck off.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they have on their websites too.
Yeah.
I say, if anything goes against what the Bible says, no matter how real it is and how provable it is, they're going to go with the Word of God.
Yeah, that weird declaration.
I mean, they're going to go with their belief.
The weird declaration of faith thing that's involved with some of these things, including some schools in the U.S. that you have to sign a declaration of faith in order to get into some of these Christian-based schools. And I just look at them and think, aren't you being intellectually dishonest at the beginning if you're signing on for this? But
yeah, I mean, believe it. If you're a Christian and you believe in science and stuff like that, that's not going to take your faith away from you, I don't think. Because there are many Christians. Like Fiona, she's into biology and stuff like that.
Well,
I mean, many prominent Christians or scientists are Christian. It's amazing.
It was an internal battle with me at the very beginning because my mind has always liked science. I always got A's in science class. It was my favorite subject in school. But I was trying to go with the whole Bible thing. So I was trying to mix the Bible and science together. And this was the pinnacle moment for me. Someone asked me in Shaka God's chat room, "Okay, I got a question for you. How old is the Earth?" And I did not know how to answer that. I didn't know anything about old Earth creationism, so I guess I could have just said that and still been okay, but it really got me thinking, and I was like, oh shit. So I started doing a little bit more research, and my mind was blown clean open, so I eventually just started thinking to myself for a while, and now I stand before you as an atheist after a lot of research.
Yeah, the people that the same story here, Redline. I even went so far as to have my own ministries, and went to school for this stuff, But I knew that my faith in science couldn't reconcile, at least not with most of it. Although I tried, and I couldn't see myself being a young Earth creationist because it's like, no, my science background does not support that, so I'm just going to chuck that as to I don't know how God did it,
Yeah.
But eventually I ditched it. But what really got me to ditch it was a video series by this guy named Evidence, and then also watching a lot of Bible Reloaded. And,
yeah, Evidence did some good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then watching Bible Reloaded, which make me, as a Christian, allow me to watch these videos and then laugh with them. You know what I mean? Like, it was hilarious, and I realized how silly it was. And it's not just a moment thing. It's always a pending process. I mean, it's pending for a long time. You're always going to be thinking, and you're always going to be, putting some. You're gonna put your beliefs under scrutiny as a believer, no matter what.
Yep,
You
and
can't help it, you know. And that was the last straw.
well, the last straw for me, what really kind of turned me over, because I was an atheist the very next day after this happened, is I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I guess I'm glad I did it. I got into an argument with Phil Hellenes, and he basically, you know, okay, I'll just be honest, he whooped my ass, okay? He whooped my ass royally on every single fucking point I had. Just absolutely tore me a new one, and I was basically I called him every name in the book, but internally I was conceding. I was conceding internally, and I was like, oh boy, what now? What now?
I have a question for the room, actually, if I can cut in here for a minute.
Sure.
And I'm actually going to go down the line with this one. But you hear people talking about, you know, I heard this atheist talk about this, or this person talk about that, and that was part of my deconversion process. But how much of your initial deconversion process, or, well, of course I have to make an exception to for the sake of the room, but I guess I should reframe it then as, in terms of the apologetics that are used, do you think that these apologetics tend to help believers in terms of trying to deal with their faith, or do more harm than good? I think I should frame it that way.
Oh, I can help answer that, hopefully. Well, if you look at the history of, I'll just say, the Christian church, there was a time in which I think Christians, on the whole, were more studious people, I guess. I guess I'll just put it that way. And maybe it's just people in general were maybe less prone to, I guess, pop culture because there wasn't as much. I mean, we know this. We know lots of people in history who were self-proclaiming Christians and scientists and helped the collective scientific community figure some things out. You know, a lot of this, to me, like, I grew up in the Midwest, and I remember growing up thinking that the 1950s was like the bomb. You know, like, it was the wholesome time. It was an era that we need to get back to, and even just a lot of things about the revolutionary history of America, like, very much like this very kind of conservative Christian community. And it's like you're hard pressed, if you're a Christian, to find any kind of mentors that even just think out of the box. Any kind of mentors who, if a evolutionist comes to them and, you know, said something, or just anybody, like anybody who has a radically different point of view, like, you're hard pressed to find Christians that are not, like, they don't get that little flutter in their heart. It's like they don't care. Like, they'll just talk to people, or they'll just, like, the way I grew up, and I don't know if it's just because I'm in the country, I live closer to the city now, but it's like this bubble effect. It's almost like this alternate reality. And I mean, I can say this as a Christian now, and I'm like, holy crap, that is not like real life. It's like that is so closed. And so, and you know, I actually lived in Northern Virginia for a time, and up there is the town that I lived in was about an hour from DC, and there's this school, Patrick Henry College, and I lived in and around them. So did my husband. That's where we met. We didn't go to college there, but that place is filled with young people who are studying law and having all these discussions about politics and the goings on. And I remember sitting at dinner with people, and it was like, wow, they really were intellectual. But there's a lot of stupidity that gets masked by intellectual dialogue. It's like this vocabulary, and it drove me crazy because here I am from Kansas, and I'm just like, well, something, and just even the way that I talk made me almost feel like no one would really pay me attention because I wasn't going to college or I wasn't part of this infrastructure and I wasn't using these words and I didn't know about this and blah, blah, blah. So I think overall, the philosophy of Christian apologetics usually falls short just because they're not actually even living by the Bible. They're just kind of like... The problem with reading the Bible is that you have a human mind. And it's like, unless you can tell me that your human mind is perfect, then even, like, I hear the thing of, like, oh, just read the Bible as a child, just look at it from a child's perspective. And it's like, sorry, I'm not a child, and I don't know.
I think I get where you're going, Biz.
Yeah.
Okay, if we can, actually, I'm going to jump the line here. Alexander.
The question was,
do you think that the apologetics that are used hurt or harm the message, the underlying message that they're trying, that Christianity or any other religion is trying to promote? Do you think that apologetics really is something that's more likely to help believers or harm them in their proverbial spiritual journey?
And so I'm just gonna put on the cap of when I was Christian, it was my opinion that it actually hurt to dive into those type of studies because I have a Jonathan MacArthur study Bible and I still have it, and things that he will propose within the Bible, because it is it's a Bible, and the things that you can read afterwards, there's certain things that they're just lying about, and I recognize that as a Christian, and I was like, okay, this is just a lie, because unless you are fully willing to submit your total thinking capabilities, like everything, if you are willing to submit all reason and all logic, then and if you want to feed into your delusion, then it'd be a great thing. But there's just certain things that's just a flat out lie, and I've always thought it was harmful. I've always tried to tell people to stray away from it. Apologetics is not really the type of thing you want to get into. It gets confusing. That you start talking about hermeneutics, and I was on the belief that if you read with just thinking, just having God on the mind and in the spirit, quote unquote, then you would understand everything that you're reading from the Bible. Not having, I was thinking that if you had to go and try to read about, the apologetic view, then that means that you are really struggling spiritually, and that you're having problems with reading the Bible and maybe having doubts. So I've always equate going to apologetics would be doubt, and I thought that was quite, a bad thing, I never did agree that it helped people, and I've noticed that the people who really submit to the apologetic approach, I've noticed that when I talk to these people, they tend to be really, really delusional. And it's hard to even have like hypotheticals with them. They resort everything back to God did this, and it's like you have to break yourself free from that. I mean, if you're going to be a good Christian, then you have to recognize your opposition and what their position is. And apologetics don't offer that. What they offer is blatant lies. And it wasn't until I became atheist that I realized that everything that I was taught about atheism and atheist was straight out. It's a lie. I've always thought atheists were satanic. And you know what I mean? And then it wasn't until I became atheist when I'm like, well, they think that's silly too. And I kind of always knew that, but it's just I've always thought it served as just feeding tool to your delusion. So that's just what I think.
Cool. Chris, you're up.
The question again is, does apologetics hurt or help?
Yeah. What do you think?
Hurt or help who?
The people that are in the faith.
It helps them because they're the ones who buy it. It doesn't help them in their goal of converting. If anybody wanted to tether apologetics to converting somebody to their faith, it's more defending faith, I understand, but I also think that people use apologetics in attempts to confront people who have a different position than them to try to convert them. So I think it helps them because it just reinforces what they already believe in different frameworks. So I think it helps them.
If I can just cut in for a brief second, because I actually got to leave real quick.
Actually, I'm going to have to cut this in a little bit, so I'm just going down the line with this, and this is going to be final question of the day.
Okay. Well, I will see you all next time. I actually got to get up out of here. But you guys have a good one.
Have a good one.
Take care, man.
Take care, Alexander.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to pass the mic to Fiona. Okay, we can pass it down further, Fiona.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself and I couldn't find the button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Currently, as apologetics is being demonstrated, I would say it is a hindrance. Because, well, take for example the fiasco, the ongoing fiasco about slavery. And we have apologists saying that they see nothing wrong with owning another person. I don't want people to think that because I'm a Christian, I think the same way. So it's a hindrance. Because the very loud minority are giving a false impression of what the majority think. For example, the majority don't have any problem in accepting evolution. The entire Roman Catholic Church accepts evolution. But then again, as Roman Catholics, we're not true Christians.
Yeah, but you also have a Pope to say, dude, there's no problem here.
Yeah, so I mean, you can understand. I mean, it's I find it a real hindrance because you get to the stage where you may go on to hang out with people that you don't know, and you're actually very, very reluctant to say that you're a theist, never mind a Christian.
And a lot of that sentiment Red agrees with, by the way. Heavy Hauler, your perspective, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Well, I used to be a believer, but now I'm an atheist. But so I'm looking at it from an atheist point of view. I think it's hurting other Christians, like Fiona and some of the others mentioned, because these people that are doing the apologetics, like William Lane Craig and Scythian Bragalot and whatever, all these people, and Arcane and G-Man and all that, they're being so forceful. They're being so stubborn and unwavering. And I don't think they're being honest with what they're trying to convey. You know, they're just picking certain things and trying to force this on people. And there's a lot of arrogance there too, and looking down on people that don't believe, or maybe people that have fallen away, perhaps. And it's not helping the cause. You don't see like any kind of love there. You don't see any kind of true concern, about people like people that are atheists. And then they also go after other Christians or other denominations or something. Sometimes, depending on who you're talking to. And the way I'm seeing like the presuppositional argument and the cosmological argument, it's hurting. It really is. like I said, there's no love and there's no caring and there's no real concern there. It's kind of like all about numbers or something, you know.
Okay, thank you. Redline, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool.
All right, so apologetics. Does it hurt or does it help? It helps. I'll answer this. It's both, but it helps in the short term, but it hurts in the long term. It helps in the short term because the bullshit may seem very convincing, you know, when you first heard it. I mean, the first time I heard William Lane Craig, I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this is fucking amazing. But in the long term, after you actually, you know, study it and look into it and analyze his logic a little bit more closely, it hurts their cause. So that's my answer.
Okay, if I can potentially pass the mic. Hey, Red, got a question for you. Want to move over here for a second by the mic?
Okay.
Okay, now you've made statements on this, and I've paraphrased them to death by this point. But don't go with what my statements in it, so I want your own impression of this. Do you think that the practice of apologetics helps or hurts the faith?
Hurts.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Well, all I can speak from is from my perspective. When you start harassing either atheists or theists with these apologetics, trying to change their mind, trying to say that they are wrong, all you're doing is pissing them off. And I realize this because it pisses me off. They're all wrong. They absolutely refuse to be open-minded in the slightest. And I don't see any value in any of the apologetics that I've seen to date.
And this is coming from my Christian half. Well, when she acknowledges the term. Which,
depends on how you define it.
Exactly. And this is something that I've seen a lot of when I talk a lot about the different videos I've gone through and what have you in terms of deconversion stories and the like. This is kind of a recurrent theme because deconversion and the why people change their mind, or quote-unquote repent, if you want to go with the other way of framing the change your mind. When people go and they start evaluating things and changing their mind, there are different things that they come across. And there seems to be this point along the journey of a lot of people when they're moving away from faith, that they start developing what I refer to as a larger, grander notion of what a God could be. And then you start running into apologists that start pulling back and reining that in and saying, no, 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 no. This God that you're presenting isn't the God of the Bible. God is as is in the Bible. This is what it means. And starts doing this whole thing and then accusing you of not being a believer or not being a Christian or what have you because you're disagreeing with them as to what this God thing could be. And at the same point, you run into apologists that are sitting there and defining God as the greatest possible being. And you have this person that's pulling away from the faith and saying, but wait, what you're defining as the greatest possible being does not match what my definition of what would be the greatest possible being. Your being's less than the one that I'm trying to define right now, the one that I'm trying to understand, the one that I'm trying to reach for. So how great is it? And this, I think, is the big problem because there are so many people when they hit this point that they start coming to this greater notion of the divine, that the apologists come along and start beating them down and insisting that God must be less. How the hell does that help? I mean, it might help within the psychological construct of the person that's running around as an apologist defending. But so many of these people, their whole theology just seems to be a paper tiger built up to try and impress others with no real substance of its own. And I've seen this time and time again, and I find myself defending the faith of people like Fiona, people like Red, like some others that I've met online. And I'll see the likes of, well, one of the more recent ones was G-Man, sitting there yelling at these people, telling them they weren't real Christians, when I think their conception of what God is and can be might be better, might be greater than a God that he's going to run around saying approved of slavery and it's okay because God said so. It's essentially his argument that he's been using lately. If you have a greater or better notion of what a God could be, the worst thing somebody can do is run around and start slapping you down and telling you, no, 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 it's less than that. And in that way, I think apologists, in a lot of cases, not necessarily all, in terms of belief as a whole, do more harm to their cause than good. And maybe they should put down the apologetics and stop insisting that God is this or God is that because somebody said so, and try and figure out what it means to them. And this is a drum that I'm planning on beating for a little bit of a while. If y'all will let me. And we're running out of time. We're down to the last 5 minutes, and I'm going to go through her closing comments. I think Red's officially had hers. And let's do it in reverse order, if you don't mind. Redline.
Yes, I like my response better. Fuck you. All right, I'm out of here.
Fine. Heavy Holler.
Well, I just thought of this. It's kind of like the apologists. They're like wielding a sword, you know. You can kind of picture them doing that. And I'm thinking, drop the sword, and instead of coming at people with a sword, give them a hug. You know, instead of having the sword approach, be more loving and understanding.
Thanks for joining, Heavy Holler. Fiona.
I think I would just say what Heavy Holler has said. If you keep beating people over the head with a big stick with a nail in the end, then they're too busy trying to fend off the blows to listen to what you're saying.
Very well said.
And they're not going to be in a very conducive mood to actually want to listen to what you're saying.
There's a line. There are technically two lines in the Bible. One is to pound your plowshares into sword, and the other is in reverse. But the point of pounding your swords into plowshares is not to then turn around and start hitting them with a plowshare. In any case, Chris.
To ride on the coattails of what Fee and Heavy were saying, I think one definition of insanity is doing the same behavior but expecting different results. Right? When has being offensive not made people defensive in general? So if you want people to not reply to you in a defensive way, don't offend them, whether it's through apologetics or anything. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. And let's move down to the end of the line. Amy.
Oh, hey, I'm back. It crashed. I always hated the term apologetics because I'm like, what are you apologizing for? And I think if they would just read the Bible that they're apologizing for, they would get it, because if they read Psalm 94, they'd see the Lord's my defense and is the rock of my refuge. So they need to stop being their own defense. And I really, really love what Fiona has been saying, because just the whole not forcing on people thing is, since I'm pretty familiar with Christian culture, don't force it, because that's what the Holy Spirit's job is to convince people. It's not even your job at all. So, I don't know. There's my 20 cents.
And you got a thank you from Red. I think that's her equivalent of an amen these days. On that note, I'm going to have to stop the broadcast because we're heading out to dinner in a couple minutes. And thank you for those that are currently still here and those that attended earlier.
It's a great hangout. Thank you.
Yes, enjoyed it.
Very much.